Welcome to Waiting on the Trade, a comics book club for people who can't keep up with monthly comics. I'm Matt Ledger.
I'm Patrick Fitzgerald Fleck.
And I'm Catherine Prince.
This month we're talking about Trung Le Win's The Magic Fish. Now, in case you need a refresher, The Magic Fish tells the story of Tien, a Vietnamese-American middle schooler who is struggling to come out to his parents, and Hien, Tien's mother, who is struggling with her own identity. The pair connect via fairy tales, using them as ways to connect and reflect on their own stories and express their love for one another. Kat, welcome back to the podcast. Glad to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We're in the middle of painting our dining room, but we took a break so that we could come talk to Patrick about the magic fish.
Like you
This is
do.
true. Yeah.
Yep.
So, Kat, what made you want to talk about the magic fish on the podcast? Because I know we bounced between a few different books the last few times that I was trying to get you to come back on the podcast. What made this the right book to talk about?
Well, this book is on a ton of banned books lists, and I get some good recommendations from parental rights groups like Moms for Liberty. Um, so generally the books on those lists, I'm not going to say they're always good because some of them are like they find out about like one of the books in a smut series. The whole series won't be on there, but just like they'll pick random books. Anyway, there's some good ones on these lists.
How many books do you think banned books list have sold? It's a fair amount, right?
I
I
was-
know. I mean,
yeah.
there's bookstores that have their own sections of like, hey, check out these banned books, and the library does too, actually.
Why would you ban this? That's so sad.
Is that
Because it
called like the
depicts,
Barbara Streisand effect, where you like
yeah, the
trying to
Streisand
not
effect.
trying to not bring attention to a thing, but you bring attention to the thing, and then everyone's like, "Oh, this is a big deal."
So it's banned because it has positive depictions of gay people, and honestly, probably of immigrants too.
Yeah.
I don't think they like that either.
All right.
Yeah, and so like I wanted to do the graphic novelization of Lies My Teacher Taught Me, but Matt said that was too political.
I did not say it was too political. Hang
Yeah, you
on.
did. I mean, that
Hang
one's
on.
kind of a long read
No,
too,
that was
but
not my phrasing. I was just like, I don't want to talk about a bummer right this
None of
second.
that liberal
No.
crap on our podcast.
I would never say don't bring it because it's too political. That
you
is, you're putting words in my mouth, Catherine
you're
Prince.
ghostlighting me. Anyway, so I picked this one, which isn't actually that political, but people have made it that way. And I like a lot of the motifs in it, selkies, mermaids, and spooky folk tales.
I mean, it's political in that everything is political, right? Like, there are the, like, weirdo superhero comic readers who are like, get politics out of my comics, as though, like, politics are not a thing that exist always and have not especially existed in, like, superhero comics particularly, but all comics, like, all stories, maybe not all stories, most stories are political in some aspect because turns out politics and identity and morals and ethics are pretty closely tied together.
Yeah, there's a thing too where like pop culture or just I guess like the majority of a culture will like suddenly not suddenly, but over time like a certain word will become political where it didn't used to be like climate change, for example, is a phrase we use now because global warming got too political, so we just kind of switched it to climate change. So I think sometimes that can happen with concepts too. So really everything has the potential to be political. Like even stuff that is like deliberately trying to be as bland as possible. It's like, well, you're being political by not engaging with politics.
I mean, it's a choice, right? It is actually a choice. Like we, yeah, I was gonna bring up the a local neighborhood issue we were having, but I don't think I'll bring it up because I don't know if it's interesting to people who are
Well,
listening to the
actually, like that's
podcast.
kind of something I was thinking about while I read this. So Wisconsin's been in the news lately because of Watertown, where the school board banned kids from playing this epic band piece called "A Mother of a Revolution," and that's how you say it because there's there's an exclamation point at the end. But yeah, it's commemorating the Stonewall riots. It's not, there's no words in it. It doesn't have lyrics that are like, "Yay, the gays." It's just It's just an instrumental piece, but it's really good,
Very
and it's
flamboyant, though. I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, its namesake is a trans woman named Marsha Johnson, who was a figure in those riots. So I guess the school board was like, "Oh, well, this can't happen." So the kids had to perform their concert without that song. But the interesting pushback about it, which kind of made me think of banned books lists in this book a little bit, is like, yeah, that's what happened. But then the community just organized their own concert at a local church, and they flew the composer out. And the
Oh,
church was so packed that people were like leaning up against the walls on the outside trying to listen. Like, so it actually was a really good thing for the music, and now a lot more people know about it. So I
true.
guess just keep looking at those banned books lists and other things that school boards don't seem to like, and you can find some good stuff.
At the risk of completely overwhelming the beginning of the conversation with banned books talk, that also reminded me of a bit in Ta-Nehisi Coates' I think latest book, The Message, where he's like kind of giving writing advice, but also kind of just giving life advice. He will like fly out to schools that have put his books on banned books lists if teachers like want him to, and just like go sit in the crowd. Like he won't like make it about him, but he'll just like show up in support of the teachers for wanting to teach his books, which is a really cool move, I feel like. But again, like
Has that
terrible
gotten
thing to
them
have to
any
do.
sway?
I think it has worked on occasion. I would have to go reread to. I mean, I'm sure it has not worked on occasion, also, right? But I think
I
it
mean, I
again
feel like
calls
the people
attention to the
banning it
whole
won't know who
thing.
he is.
I mean, I think he's introduced at some point during the conversations, but yeah,
Mm.
it's just like what are. So I was talking to. We're gonna get around to talking about the actual plot of the book, I promise, dear listener. So I read
Mhm.
this very late because, again, as with the last podcast, life is still busy and rushed here in Matt Ledger land. So, like, I read this Monday. We're recording this Tuesday, and basically my take on it initially, because like Kat was out in the yard doing yard work, I was reading the book, and she had like walked by as I was finishing it, and my take was, what a dumb book to put up on a banned book list. Like, just way to show that you have no empathy for any other human being, putting this like lovely little book about like a son and a mother and their relationship with each other and with their lives like outside of each other at the same time, and how those things intersect, and like all of that in like a very beautiful, compelling package. And it's like, nah, we don't think kids should read this. This is not good. Like, wait, like just telling on yourself when you do something like that, I feel like, of like where your values stand and like what you're allowing to take priority in your life versus what should actually matter. So that's my take on the book as a whole. Is like, my God, why why are we putting this on banned book list? It's a lovely little book. Um, but Pat, we've been dominating the conversation. How did you find The Magic Fish?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. The illustrations are really beautiful. I appreciated the layouts, and yeah, I think it has a good message.
Do we want to talk about the plot a little bit before we delve a little bit deeper? Kind of just set things up in case the listener has not read it recently. Um,
Sure.
Kind of starts with a focus on. Well, it's interesting because like it starts with a focus on Tien, I would say, but the narration is from his mother's perspective, even at the start, which I didn't really expect. Um, so that's something we should probably talk about at some point. But the main focus is Tien's relationship with his mother. Also, Tien's kind of like um, trying to figure out how to talk to his Vietnamese parents about his sexuality, because he is gay, but he is not out to his parents, and he doesn't even know what the words for that would be in Vietnamese, which is like such a interesting and kind of like mind-boggling problem to have. Not that you like the conversation can be uncomfortable enough, right? Like there's the bit where Tien sees on the news like someone killed in a hate crime in Texas, so like is still seeing people like him um receiving an absurd amounts of hate. So like that makes you nervous enough to have the conversation, even if you had the words for it, but not having the words for it is a completely separate and crazy problem. So he's navigating that, and at the same time, his mother is navigating kind of like the divide between the life she used to know in Vietnam before she left for America, and like she's talking with her mother on the phone and wants to go visit her mother, but cannot because they're still trying to save money to do that. And then at the same time, she's like trying to learn English, and that's part of why she and Tien are reading fairy tale stories to each other in the evenings, which is like such a beautiful thing to do with your child. I feel like if you're both teaching each other in that way. And then as the book progresses, we kind of see each of those stories develop. And I think this is where I can pop in and ask a question I had for you guys, because I did prepare a few questions today while I was thinking about the book. Is which story or like which character was more compelling to you between Tien and his mother? Like whose storyline were you more invested in?
Hmm.
I don't think I was more invested in either of them.
You were split.
Yeah, I was invested in all the storylines.
Fair answer. I think I did not expect, based on what I knew about the book already, for Hien or Helen, is how her name is Americanized, I guess, um, to be as central a character in the book. And I actually really appreciated her storyline throughout, and how much focus was placed on just kind of like her experience as an immigrant who like came over from Vietnam, has a life back there. Like her relationship with her mother is a huge part of the book, and eventually, spoilers, her mother dies, and she goes back to Vietnam for the funeral and meets up with her aunt. And here's another story there. And I think there's a page where I believe there's a page where, and Kat has our copy of the book upstairs, but there's a page where it's a fairy tale story, Helen in the present, and a panel of the past in yellow, and like there's that color differentiation throughout to kind of keep track of like which parts of the stories are happening where and when. And I think that's a really beautiful page and shows a lot of the juxtaposition of Helen's life in one page, where she's trying to keep this kind of cultural memory that's in the fairy tale. She's trying to keep the memories of her old life, which are in the yellow panel on that page, and then having to live her life in the present and kind of make everything make sense and work. I don't know. That was a really interesting dynamic. I think I was honestly kind of like more invested in her story than in Tien's, though. I would agree that both were compelling.
Well, the stories kind of overlap in this, so I mean, trying to pick them apart is sort of like what's your favorite strand of a yarn, like they're all kind of twisted together and they make their own super story, I guess.
It's the third strand, Cat. Every time, it's the third strand.
Mm.
No, I get what you're saying though, where it's kind of everything's dependent on each other here, so that makes sense. Cat did not answer the question though.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed probably Tien's story more. I don't know. He's a cute kid. I appreciated his interactions with his friends. I'm trying to figure out how to open up to his parents, and we get the real life villains in this. Screw his teacher and that priest. They can both stuff it. They were awful. I hated that priest when he said the line about, "Oh, thank goodness you haven't opened up to your parents," because what I hear parents who have gay children is like a death in the family. Asshole. What an asshole.
Yeah, that's a very hard-hitting page where Tien then just like flashes back to seeing his mother crying because her mother has died, which happened within the last week, I think, if I'm remembering the the beats
Well,
correctly.
he opened up
Like,
to his teacher about it because the teacher saw that he was moping and wasn't doing well. So the teacher probably told the priest. Like, it's just so awful.
I mean,
yeah, I mean the
they
teacher
did that
very.
because
Go ahead, Kat.
they saw him dancing at the dance. You see that cutscene where the teacher is talking to another teacher and they're like, "Oh, these boys are dancing. Better call the priest."
Yeah, the teacher did that very pointedly to set him up for getting shamed,
It was a good
essentially.
panel though, just because then you're like, "Oh, something's coming from that."
Yeah.
And then it takes a while and you're like, "Well, maybe I was wrong?" But then you're like, "Oh no, okay, here's that scene that I saw I thought was coming."
But did you have a fun time or a nice time?
Did you? Yeah, that was creepy.
Have a nice time. Gross.
I do wonder if that's part of how it ends up on banned book lists. Also, it's like, oh, it paints
And the
us as
church
baddies.
is the
We are.
villain.
Yeah, and that scene sandwiched in it is kind of the conclusion of the Vietnamese not Snow White, Cinderella
Cinderella.
story, where the mother-in-law just like loses it and is like, destroy this tree, destroy this bird, blood everywhere, we're free. Like, oh my
Daughter, if you
God.
truly love me.
So anyway, here's a priest.
Yeah, what do you guys think about the Vietnamese Cinderella story? Were you shocked when the stepmother fed the magic fish to her stepdaughter?
Oh
I think
yeah.
that's the most, I guess, haunting panel in the whole book where the girl looks up and she's like, "Wait, I'm eating my fish?" And her eyes are really wide. Dang.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Pretty heartbreaking.
there's a line in there too where I think it's the
And then she
actual
makes
mom,
her
the
say, I
actual
love you.
sister.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just like, she says that like the story changes when it needs to. So the tradition of oral stories and how they like it's the same thing over and over again, but it keeps changing through time has always been really interesting to me. And I feel like some of the most gripping stories are the ones that are fairy tales, like the sort of thing that you'd be telling around a fire at night instead of reading in a book with a lot of flash forwards and flashbacks. So this was kind of an interesting blend of maybe traditional human storytelling with the more sophisticated things that you can do with the written word.
I mean, there's that certain level of adaptability to these sorts of stories, especially like the fairy tale level stories where they're very simple and direct, and thus you can kind of like paint between the lines in them to make them do what you want, kind of like you can take the story in unexpected directions because you know the broad beats of it, so then you can play with the specifics. um and then again, like as we see in the final fairy tale, take it in whatever direction you need to kind of like land whatever message you actually want to land.
The final fairy tale, the Undine. Oh, the Little Mermaid. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, which I guess we could just cover all
Oh
three.
yeah, the Little Mermaid's name was Undine, which is the name of the Selkie traditionally in the because yeah, there's Cinderella, the Little Mermaid, and then the like kind of classic Selkie tale, which is Undine.
I did really enjoy seeing a story that I was like kind of familiar with or mostly familiar with, but then just like through a completely different lens and like told from a completely different kind of cultural point of view too. Like that was really interesting to me. That made that Little Mermaid read really exciting to see just
Did
kind of the ways it was gonna differ or not differ.
did you guys read the author's notes at the back of the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how each story that different people are telling is illustrated based on how they imagine it.
Yeah. The first story was from Tian's perspective, right? He was saying his 90s Disney esque
Yeah.
story.
Mhm.
And then we got the Vietnamese Cinderella story from the aunt's perspective. And then the last one, which I didn't quite see, but it's supposed to be from Helen's or Hian's perspective, her story.
Yeah, so like the 80s for that one and then like the 50s for the middle one, right?
No, that's the
Right.
60s. That is squarely the 60s.
Yeah, that was interesting and like a lot of thought obviously put into it also to make a fantastical world that is realistic in some amount of respects for the person who is telling the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, he went into the details of the dressmaking was very, very impressive.
Yeah, and the reference for the three dresses, like Midnight, Starlight, and Dawn, were based
Yeah.
on different points in the 20th century. That was really cool. I'm a Poirot fan. Wait, oh, I get it mixed up with the detective.
Just saying
One of them's a detective and one of
Poirot's
them's
the
a
detective.
1920s fashion designer. Oh, son of a biscuit. I'm trying to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's Poirot.
I mean, that's not the detective, so if it's one or the
It's
other in
not the
your head.
detective.
Yeah.
Oh. Yes, clearly I'm a huge fan if I get him mixed up with the detective all the time.
It
Poirot,
happens.
yeah.
Did you guys have a favorite fairy tale of the three?
I like
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I like the mermaid designs of the last one. I really enjoyed the. I like a thick tail on a mermaid. You know what I mean?
I thought the
Mm.
panel where the mermaid's tail was transforming into legs and one of the legs was still like half tail in the panel I'm thinking of, like
Mhm.
it was like mid transformation. That was a very cool panel. That was very well done. That one sticks with me.
And the shark sea witch who's just
The
like
shark sea witch is really cool.
that was so cool.
Her hair's in the hammerhead shark shape.
So, fun fact about your tail preferences, Pat.
Mhm.
So, the symmetry of fish and mammals is a little bit different here, but that part of the tail is called the caudal peduncle. And basically, ocean fish that have a really, really narrow caudal peduncle are the ones that are kind of like the distance runners, I'm pretty sure, because tuna have a really narrow one versus like a barracuda has a thick boy caudal peduncle, and I think they're like the short, fast bursts sorts of fish.
I'm excited to put the show notes for this one together this weekend.
Yeah, it's been a while since I have taken fish class.
Fish
It's
class.
not limnology, it's not it's ichthyology. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah,
Ecology? Ictology?
ichthyology.
Sure.
No, that's right. I think the peduncle sizes thing is right.
Say peduncle one more time.
How dare you?
I think I like the magic fish the best of the stories for a couple different reasons.
Hmm.
Because it's dark.
I mean, partially, like I think it's the most surprising one, partially for the reason we already talked about of like when gosh, I can't remember the name of the lady in the story, but the lady in the story is forced to actually eat her friend the magic fish. Like,
Tam is the name of the. Yeah. Right.
oh yeah, that is correct. I got the
Mhm.
Wikipedia up to try to help my brain, and I was too busy talking to read it. Um, yeah, so Tam ends up eating the fish, and then like it kind of goes even darker from there. Of like the panels where there's just the like repetition of unbury the bones, unbury the bones, unbury the bones. Creepy and wonderful. Loved it. A great
Yeah,
use
and
of repetition.
the mom didn't realize like, oh, and it's over, and the aunt's like, nuh-uh, there's more.
Yeah, and I think like the twists and turns were cool. Like I think the way it was told from like the aunt's perspective, and then again, like as a person who really appreciated Ian's storyline, like that juxtaposition of her not being able to remember it, but at the same time, her aunt telling her like, "Hey, it's a changeable story. Like as much as you remember is fine, and then we can fill it. Like I will help you fill in the blanks." Um,
Yeah, and then she's like, is that really the ending? And the aunt's like, it's ambiguous. Things
well, that's
change.
cool too is like the end of the story ends up being a happy ending and it also just like in the like way fairy tales work and sometimes like some of the more involved sort of stories you were talking about cat don't like
It's a
it just like
Schadenfreude happy ending.
well no you
Yeah.
just like you get to the end of it and it's like oh and then she was back it's like oh okay cool great I went to that thank you
Yeah. She does just sort of come back to life.
yeah because turns out what he needed at that point was a happy ending fairy tale so turns out that's what she got.
Yeah, and
Oh
then the rest
yeah,
of the
that's a good
story is
point.
more. Yeah.
And then she does it herself in the next one
Yeah, which is
to
also a good
Tian.
lesson. I think the magic fish story is doing a lot of work in here, so like kind of makes sense that it's the namesake like
I was gonna say, why
their
do you think?
story.
Why is this book called The Magic Fish?
I think because it's like it's doing like that particular story is doing so much work and is also like the well, I don't know because the last one like I was gonna say is the most distinctly Vietnamese one about the magic fish one, but maybe it's
Uh,
not if the last one is. So I might have already changed my mind about that, but I think like the magic fish story is kind of the story that teaches the lesson that you can change the stories however you need to.
Is that what it is? Hmm.
Maybe
I was
it's a
trying
thought.
to. Yeah, I mean, obviously the last one is the easiest to apply to the characters. I feel obviously it's Hien trying to show Tien that she's open to whatever he's willing to tell her. I don't like. Are the stories supposed to be metaphorical for the characters and what they're going through? Like, what I thought it was strange and didn't quite gel with what the author said in the back is that the first story seemed to remind Hien of her leaving Vietnam and like meeting her husband and then deciding to leave Vietnam, right? Like there's that whole flashback scene we see where she's relating to the characters in the story as Tien is reading it to her. So I was surprised in the back of the book when the author explains that it's actually the third story that is Hien's story.
I feel like people with fairy tales, they need to find a moral with them and some sort of like metaphor. And I think if you dig deep enough, you can probably find whatever metaphor you're looking for. But there's a case to be made for also just enjoying them for what they are.
Sure, but there's a reason why the author chose these stories, though, right?
Well, there's nautical themes in all three of them. One of them's a fish, but the other two are mermaids. Which, by the way, that first mermaid where the ant shows up and
She's
like,
huge.
she's not like boobing out. She's just wearing like a very 1890s conservative dress. It just happens to be made of scales.
Boobing out being the technical term, of course.
Yeah.
Anna Green Gables would love those sleeves. She'd be like, "Oh, sleeves."
I did like that panel in that one was actually I think one of my favorite panels also
Where she
because it's
picks
just
up
like it's
the
so
old man.
absurd. Just a giant woman in like a like old school European dress just like pops up out of the sea and grabs an old man. It's like, dude, you can't keep leaving home like this. We can't keep doing this.
Did you see though, as she was holding him, he changed from an old man into a
Squid.
squid?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I did notice that.
And the other cool thing I noticed about the weird little old man is like when you first see him, he's riding up on a skeleton and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I'm like,
creepy."
what's going on?
And the second time you see him, he's riding up on her dad. So
Oh, I
that
didn't catch
skeleton
that.
was, yeah, just the last guy who lost his bet.
Yeah, that story gave me strong Ponyo vibes. I don't know if you guys watched that
Yeah,
one.
of course.
Mhm.
Definitely some Ponyo vibes. You can almost hear Liam Neeson. You are promised to me. That's what Liam Neeson sounds like, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I have a
And
particular set of skills.
there it is. I was gonna do it too.
Yeah, he's a little more well known for that one.
His metachlorian count is the highest I've ever seen. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't remember that scene in Schindler's List. I also really like the use of color in this. All the flashbacks are yellow, all the present stories are red, and all the fairy tales are blue. And then they'll use specific colors to call something out, like blood or a peach. That was really cool. And then you don't have to have any sort of explanation for when you have a character just like have a flash of thinking about something
Right.
from one of the stories. There's just a random blue panel on a red page, or like you can throw a flashback in that wouldn't make sense if you didn't have this color scheme thing. That was really clever.
It's one of those uniquely comics things that you just love to see. Like it makes the storytelling so clear in a completely visual way that is I'm gonna say unique to the medium. Like I'm sure there are other ways you could do it in like animation or whatever, right? But like to do it all on the same page in the same like instance of visual time or whatever when the reader's taking it in, like it's a smart move and it's executed really well, I think.
I'm just paging through right now. It's only blood and peaches in all three of them.
I was gonna say I
The
know
only
it's
color is
peaches. I
blood
remember
and
the
peaches.
peaches.
That's pretty cool. Oh my God. And this is also the best iteration of Cinderella's shoes that I've ever seen.
Oh, the big pointy shoes.
Yeah, with the wings, they look like little lotus dragons or something. Just really cool.
Do they have scales also, or am I misremembering
Yeah,
that?
they have scales.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's the dragon part. And I think they kind of look like lotus petals on the top.
Yeah. Again, I didn't get to dive as deep into just like going back to look at pages of this as I usually like to, but I do think overall it's a very like well illustrated and like detail oriented book, especially in the clothing as we talked about, which I kind of thought you would like it for that reason, Kat.
Yeah,
Um,
I judge the clothing, and then also I'm really a fan of the sort of clean style. Like if you look at a lot of superhero comics, there's a lot of like the colorist goes a little bit crazy sometimes. And then the line work is really complicated, and I
Yeah.
feel like really clean lines where everyone looks very different um, is important to me for making a story make sense. Like if everyone's kind of a cookie cutter, same shape, and you just insert different hair, it's harder for me.
Talking about hair, though, I will say, like, one of the things that's most striking, I feel like, especially about the fairy tales, but it happens elsewhere too, is like, for lack of a better description of it, there is some shoujo manga ass like ass hair in this. Like, there is just
Okay,
like,
can I say, like
yeah,
I um have drawn stuff like this, not as well, but like that is by far the most fun thing to do is just like long flowing hair with all those little long lines like that. So much fun. I bet
oh
these were
yeah,
really fun panels to draw.
I would say the like the first story, especially, I think, with the like the girl who bounces back and forth between being like a kitchen servant and like a fantastical princess. Like I think you can definitely see Trung like letting loose in those panels in that way and just like having fun with it, just going nuts.
Yeah, I think the hair is some of the best part of the book. Like everyone's hair looks great. Even like the non-fantastical. Just keep it up. Great.
Yeah, makes it all the more jarring when the final mermaid sisters show up
They
without
gave
them.
their hair. I know. Oh,
Yeah, it does. It feels significant because it has some hair. How many young boys of this generation do you think?
Whose generation? The 90s?
Uh,
you're saying.
it would be yeah, it would be roughly 90s, right?
So
For this.
there's like a news thing that's playing about a boy who was murdered out west. That happened in 1998.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing I
Um,
was about to
so
say
it's at
locks
least
this into the
1998, if
90s
not a little later.
Yeah, it says Tien is
because
a kid growing up in the 1990s in the American Midwest.
yeah,
Good.
like the specific thing I was gonna say was like how many young boys discovered that they were not straight by watching Leonardo DiCaprio in
Oh,
Titanic.
Titanic.
I
Is that a
think,
thing?
I mean, I think it's a significant amount, probably. I believe I may know one, but will not name names. Yeah, that was interesting to me. Like
I
to,
think
I
that's
mean,
the
because
same
it
year
like
Titanic came out. Or was that 1996?
no, it would have been Titanic would have been earlier because that was a yellow panel, I believe.
1997.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say 98,
But
but
that's how
yeah,
his friend know like that's how his
he
friend
was
is like, "Oh,
blurting.
I know. I already
Yeah.
knew."
Yeah, which was like, oh, the time that yeah, that because I noticed that too, and I was like, wait, when did Titanic come out? Because that murder happened in 1998, and he was a little kid, like that was maybe 3 to 5 years ago when Titanic
Mm,
came out, which was 1997. So that would
I feel like
actually
Tien's
be closer
about
to the
our
early
age.
2000s.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it says the 90s, and they're dressed like the 90s, but I think it's more like 2002 or something.
it
could be,
doesn't
could
have to
be.
be exact. It's a story.
I thought it
No,
was
like
very open of his friend to just be accepting of it and to like still slow dance with him at a dance, but still be like, yeah, I don't think I'm gay, but I'm cool that you're gay.
Yeah, I think handled well from all sides, like in that triangle of friends actually, which was really refreshing and nice to see.
yeah, can I just say, like, I feel like we are a little bit saturated on like gay person overcomes the odds and achieves personal acceptance, despite society. So it's nice that like it didn't go super hard with that, and it was focusing more on like interweaving all these different themes.
Yeah, I mean, like I was trying to say earlier, like there's a lot about just identity in general in here, and I think that really works. And I think it's kind of part of what Trung was going for is like not trying to be like pigeonholed into telling one story or type of story. Just like, hey, this is a set of experiences that this family had, and like we're telling this kind of story here and this kind of story here, and they connect and like talk to each other, and they're not like they're not the same thing you've seen 18 times before, I guess. And like I kind of appreciated that about it also.
Yeah, I liked they sort of hinted at his friend also having feelings for the guy that he has a crush on. I was worried that they were gonna do some
I'm gonna say
weird,
without us doing the obvious
Triangle,
thing, right?
yeah.
Like like
yeah.
Well,
I was
everything.
like, oh no.
I got the feeling, and I don't know, I haven't like looked at any interviews or anything, but I got the feeling that it's at least semi-autobiographical, perhaps.
Mm,
And I also feel like the market may be saturated on autobiographical comics. Like when I go to the library and I see one, I'm just like, oh, not today. So I feel like this is a good way to do that, where you like you take your autobiography, but then you like fictionalize it to make it a cleaner narrative, maybe, and then like
sure.
add some like relevant historical and contemporary things that kind of place it in time. And I don't know, that I feel like that just makes it so much better.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, they're definitely at a Christian school. Like
Oh yeah,
there's
definitely. They've
crosses
got
in
like the
the
uniforms and everything.
classroom.
Yeah. Yeah, which
Yeah.
confused me at first when I was thinking about it this morning because I was like, wait, there's one person who like was accepting of him and it's like, oh, that's the librarian at the library though. Like it's not a person at his school, I don't think. So,
Yeah, the
um
librarians are awesome. They'll help you out.
say maybe it's the librarian at his school, but I doubt it. I
I
think
think
it's
it's their
not.
city. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so pissed when he's upset with Claire and he starts to yell. And Mrs. Flynn cuts him off and gives him detention for it. It's like, geesh.
That seemed a little bit not believable,
Just like
actually.
he said not a little loud, and she's like, Tien, don't raise your voice. Say me after class. She
That might have
calls
been
his
in service to
parents.
the plot.
I was gonna say, it's like, geez, my gosh. Yeah, I appreciated that it didn't devolve into the love triangle trope. That they were still, what's his name, Julian was still nice to Tien at the dance. I
Yeah,
like that.
sometimes people don't get along all the time, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Kat, I know you put notes together today. Did you have any
Notes? Yeah.
questions that you wanted to talk about that we haven't hit yet?
Oh,
You know, I'm looking through this. Is there a through line with a dagger? In one of the earlier panels, when Tien and his mother are they're eating dinner, there's a dagger, an ornamental dagger on a shelf in the background.
oh. Is it the same
Uh,
dagger that shows up later when they're like, stab
that's
him?
I'm thinking like there are daggers in, I know, the Vietnamese Cinderella story.
Yeah, and there's a
And
dagger in the last two, because they want
the
when
Little Mermaid's tongue gets cut
yeah.
off.
No, well, yes, but then they give her a dagger. Her sisters come with a dagger, and they're like, take his heart if you
Kill
won't
that
let
man
me.
and carve his heart
Yeah.
out because then it's yours.
I'm trying to remember in the Ponyo story
It's
if
the
there
same
was a
dagger.
yeah. So I'm
Oh,
wondering.
yeah, that makes sense. It belongs to the witch.
It's the same one in that story, but there is a similar one in the Vietnamese Cinderella story.
Yeah, the one that they used to stab Cinderella.
I believe, yes.
Yeah, that looks like the same one to me.
I'm just
Did you say that
looking
little
through
Game of Thrones scene where it's like, what kind of pie is this?
Yeah, right. The fact that she forces Cinderella to say "I love you" after feeding her fish, her friend, it's just like, oh,
That lady got issues.
yeah,
Also, like if something smells good, if it's in like an
in a
urn,
jar.
don't eat that. Come on.
Did you
Okay,
love your daughter? Was
you
she
said we got back at her,
delicious?
right? We made her eat her daughter. Poetic justice. I don't know.
I think they cut peaches in the first one.
I'm trying to say, yeah, she does make. I just thought it was interesting because, like, there's a reason why he included that ornamental dagger in the background of the first shot. So
I thought it was cool that like the night for everybody got worse after the guy grabbed all that stuff to make the dresses too. Like, oh, the stars aren't as bright. Oh, it's kind of just dull and boring. There's lessons about uh extraction of
I also at
minerals
first
in
was
here.
like, oh, she set him an impossible task. It's going to be one of those kinds of
oh,
stories. And then
he's
like the
able to
next
do
page
it.
is like, oh, he's done it. He's made these dresses.
Well, it was a good try.
You got to do the whole paradox, like make a boulder that you yourself aren't able to lift. Can't do it. Yeah, I don't see a dagger in this one, so maybe not, but sort of there. I always think it's funny in those stories where, like the Mulan story about pretending to be an opposite gender and growing close to the person that you're falling in love with, but they don't know that you aren't the gender you're pretending to be. I always think it's funny, like, did the prince start having, like, questioning his own sexuality? It's like, wow, I didn't think I was, but Al is such a great guy.
I actually thought this was really cool. Al is actually given they them pronouns throughout that story, which is, I think, pretty neat.
Oh,
So
I can confirm she uses that same knife to cut the peaches.
Oh, truly?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway. Yeah, but
Oh.
I mean, the prince is also an idiot because she's got the same face, even if she's got makeup
Sure.
on. Like, really?
Yeah.
I guess some people do a lot of stuff with makeup, but
She's wearing glasses. It's fine.
I know it's that joke in
Ugh.
Mulan that the commander like started to fall in love with Mulan before he realized that Mulan was a woman. I don't know. I just always think, wow, maybe they were about to open up and discover something about themselves. Who
maybe.
knows?
I think that means he's just super, super straight if he can tell the lady pretending to be a guy is a lady.
Or maybe they're bi or
Like using his straight
pansexual.
senses.
Maybe that's what they discovered.
I don't know. I feel like you can't really use modern labels for historical figures. It was a different sort of
Yeah.
mindset in which people categorize themselves. But yeah, the Mulan element. I almost said the Moulin Rouge. The Mulan element of it is kind of fun. Like, I mean, you guys have not to bring this up again, Pat, but like the whole like bear versus guy thing on the internet, and all the
Oh,
women are
no.
like, "I choose bear."
No.
Like, yeah, can you imagine just like being a guy and being able to like walk around and do whatever? Cool.
Can't imagine it personally.
Oh, I found the dagger. There it is. Cool.
All right. Well, there's something about a dagger in this story that we did not tease out because we
There's your
made it.
title. There's something about a dagger.
Yeah, why isn't this called the magic dagger?
Too on the nose.
I guess.
It's
Yeah.
about fish ladies.
Fish ladies.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, the fish in the middle might have been a lady too. It's hard to tell with fish. There's some wisdom. Add that to the bit about the caudal peduncles.
I was gonna say the badonkadonks we were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. The badonkadonks.
Just thinking about whether there's anything to discuss in like the fact that we get a retelling of the Little Mermaid here that is pointedly like pushed into a direction with a stance, whereas I feel like
What? What do you mean a stance?
it has it has a stance, and
ballet.
again, like for some definition of a stance, it has a stance that like same-sex romance is okay, right? This version of the Little Mermaid, like it has a political
Oh.
view.
I don't know. I feel like again, like you can politicize it, but you could also just enjoy it for what it is. Because once you start
No.
politicizing it, then the moms for liberty hear about it and they're like, "My library has this; it cannot stand."
Well, I was thinking about that versus the recent Disney live action in the biggest quotes you've ever seen, but like live action version like got so much heat just for
Live
having
action
like
version of the Magic Fish.
The Little Mermaid.
Oh,
I think like got so much heat just for having a black actress as Ariel from what I remember. Again, I don't pay attention to like
Sure.
pop culture these days, so like
yeah. I mean, that was one of those things that was prominent enough that if you don't pay attention to pop culture, you still heard about it. I heard about it too.
well, like I'm just thinking about how it goes into the Magic Fish's method of like or message of like these stories are changeable and can do whatever you want, and like in this version the story is changeable and used to like reaffirm that same-sex romance is okay and like who you are is great and like you can be whoever you are as long as you're not like actively making other people's lives worse, versus like Disney tries to do something that is not even really political. I think I agree with you on that, Kat, of like they just tried to cast an actress and like someone like a bunch of people out there were like, oh, this is like this changes the story too much in a way I do not agree with. It's just like interesting to think about it being the same story changed in two different ways and like what the acceptance of those changes says about us as a society, because I guess again like this one's not well accepted either in some circles, so I don't know. That's interesting. I was just thinking about it. It came to mind.
I feel like the Americans have really improved Romeo plus Juliet with the addition of guns and gang. Well, it was already about gang warfare with the Baz Luhrmann version. Although I guess he's Australian, but
I was gonna say, is that
eh.
that also has a character who I think is pushed towards like being very overtly gay in a way they may not be in the
Mercutio, yeah.
text. Yeah. What a performance. Oh gosh, what's that guy's name? I should know. We're rewatching Lost right now.
His name is Michael.
There's not Michael. Something. Nope. I was gonna say his last name, but it's the last name of his character on Lost named Michael Dawson. So I don't know. We'll find it for the
Oh,
show notes.
wow. They never say his last name. Anyway, we're not
I
talking
have it
about
in my
Lost,
head.
and we're not talking about Romeo and Juliet per se.
We are. You just brought it up.
Okay. Well, I mean, you brought up Leonardo DiCaprio earlier.
It's true. It all has come full circle
Yeah,
now.
wow, the themes.
I've never seen this movie. Sorry.
You've never seen Romeo plus Juliet?
Nope.
Oh, it's
It's very
great.
good. Yeah.
John Leguizamo is Tybalt. Yes.
It goes really hard, Pat.
Yeah, like Hawaiian
Okay.
shirts, the 90s. Radiohead made some original songs for the soundtrack. Oh my God. Yeah, it's just a great movie.
It's worth a watch.
And the dialogue is still true to Shakespeare.
Do they use
Oh,
Shakespearean or is it?
yeah, I mean, they don't, it's not like Americans pretending to have British accents. They're just all speaking
No, are they
as their
actually
characters.
They're reading the play. They're actually using the lines from the play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they
Yeah.
tweak the ending just a little bit, which I'm not going to tell you about, but it's worth a watch.
These stories, they are changeable.
The means.
Yeah, the mom in this book also said, like, oh yeah, Hamlet, I've made costumes that are like astronauts and fantasy.
That made me
Um,
think of which I've been meaning to rewatch actually, the David Tennant version of Hamlet, right? Where he's just like running
Yeah,
around in a skull t-shirt or whatever it
no,
is.
it's one of those t-shirts that makes it look like you have a six pack, and he's just it's a little distracting, but he's just like, I'm Hamlet in this t-shirt for the whole movie.
it is. I didn't even remember that. That's funny.
Yeah. Medieval outfits, spacesuits, and animal costumes to different productions of Hamlet. I imagine the script stays the same, but the context always shifts. Pictured is an astronaut holding a knife. So yeah, Hamlet, there you go.
Oh, another knife.
She sets you up for what to expect.
Yeah, I think overall, a great book deserves the praise it gets. Does not deserve the hate it gets. We got our copy from our local library. I think they have a couple actually there, and I am glad that it's there in the like middle grade readers graphic
The
novel
youth
section.
section.
I had no idea this was a banned book. It's very silly that it is. I see no reason why it would be banned.
Well, it's kind of like, to bring it back to the Watertown school board, like the news was asking the school board members via email and via phone call that they wouldn't return, like, why are you not letting the kids play this song? And then eventually they just like brought the live crew with them and confronted them all like at their at their houses or like walking from work, and they were all just like, oh well, use the email thing, I have no comment. Like none of them could just like actually come out and say like, I don't like this because it is like
Yeah, because again,
pro
at that point, you're
Stonewall
telling
Riders,
on
like, they
yourself,
couldn't do
right? Like,
yeah. So, like, if you can't even say it out loud, like, that's
I think that's
telling.
part of like to bring it back to the Ta-Nehisi Coates thing from earlier. Like, I think that's part of why he goes to these school board meetings is because it just makes it that much more difficult to say like we're banning this when you're talking to the person who wrote the book. I feel like just like do he doesn't even have to like show up and do that much. I don't think it's just like, hey, what? Like, what do you find objectionable about this thing I wrote? Tell it to me to my face, as opposed to being an asshole from a distance. So, yeah, it's a good book.
Agreed.
Thanks for picking it, Kat.
Yep.
All right, so on to the recommendations section of the podcast. Kat, do you have a recommendation teed up for if somebody liked the Magic Fish, what they should read next?
The author has another book out that I actually just read, which made me think about this one. It's kind of also about costumes and theater. seeing a theme here, which was Angelica and the Bear Prince. It's good. It's fun. I do like the Magic Fish better, but if you like this book, there's a good chance you like that one. Same style of hair. If you like these guys were impressed by the hairstyles in the book. And yeah, it's about oh shoot. Oh no, Pat.
I've
This is
been
why we
bracing
didn't pick this
myself.
one. This is why we didn't pick it, Cat.
Okay, I just realized it's about a girl and who develops feelings for a bear mascot.
Why, Catherine?
It's part of the reason. we
Anyway,
didn't
Pat,
do
you
it.
should read it. I think you'd really like it.
The author's barely disguised fetish. I don't know. I don't know.
I believe I'm trying to. Oh, Magic Fish was nominated for an Eisner, and the Eisner nomination list came out recently, and I think Angelica and the Bear Prince also was nominated for an Eisner. So hold on while we double check that. In such company as The Power Fantasy and Absolute Batman. No, not actually. I think it's probably going to be in best publication for teens. Yeah, it's one of the nominees. So,
Cool.
Pat, what you got?
Come back to me because I have one too that's a movie.
Okay,
Oh,
we're gonna come back to Cat.
okay.
Pat, what you got?
I would recommend The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang.
Ooh, good one. I've read
Good one.
that.
Yeah. Also really cool fashion in that one, but it's also a queer story about a prince who likes to dress up in drag, basically, and enjoy being out in public as a woman. And it's the story of a commoner dressmaker and how their friendship kind of lets both of them be true to themselves. It's a really nice story.
But genius.
More Disney-esque, more fantasy. There's not a. It doesn't have more of a hard-hitting like through line as this one does, but I still think it's a good time. Recommend it.
Not gonna lie, I didn't really think of a recommendation because this is the place we're in. But I think what I'm gonna go with, because it's never a bad time to recommend it, is On a Sunbeam.
Mm.
By Tilly Walden. It's a cool. Is it no males? I think yes, correct. Like sci-fi. Yeah, it's a good book. I say go read it if you haven't read it. If you like this, you'll like that.
Also free on their website, right?
Oh yeah, it is. That's true. All right,
Okay,
Kat, back to you.
so these aren't books, but if you, like me, enjoy Selkies, I have a couple recommendations for that. Song of the Sea, which is an Irish movie that has a really great original soundtrack. It's put out by a production company that's made a few different movies that kind of have the same sort of style of art, which is really cool. And it's probably my favorite Selkie related story that I've seen. And there's also an Undine movie from 2009 with Colin Farrell in it. And that one, I just remember, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember it being really funny because he's just like, is this fisherman who just finds a naked lady in his net one day. And then the rest of the movie, you're like, wait, is she a Selkie or is this just like a random lady? And it's pretty funny.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's just
What is
called
that
Undine.
Is it just called that?
If you haven't seen The Secret of Roan Inish, I would recommend that if you're looking for more Selkie stories or movies. Check it out.
I have a follow-up recommendation now that we're talking about Selkies. This is a comic that Kat bought for me and I read recently and enjoyed. It is called Plain Jane and the Mermaid. Also like a good like young adult story. So I would put that on there also.
Yeah,
I believe
art,
also
fun
Eisner
story.
nominated potentially. So all right, guys. Well, I think that will do it for this month's discussion of The Magic Fish. As always, if you want to get in touch with Pat or myself, you can email us at waitingonthetrade@gmail.com, can also find more comics-related goodness at mattreadscomics.com. Kat, thanks for bringing this book on. Had, I think, a really interesting discussion and enjoyed talking about it with you.
Yes,